Bhaktivedanta Swami Name Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivasesha Sanyavadi Ashtachari Shatarine Jai Shri Prabhupada. We already welcome the devotees who just arrived from Himayapur just now. But welcome again. And today probably with a little bit of admin work to do, a little bit of organization to do. We'll see what happens as the day unfolds. We hope you can settle in and it's not too austere. And anyway, we'll take it as it comes. And we're reading today from the Srimad Bhagavatam, from the 8th canto, chapter 8, text number 2. The title of the chapter is The Churning of the Milk Ocean. And we see out of the milk ocean all kinds of creations or manifestations take place, auspicious. We've already heard how the appearance of Sarabi from the churning of the milk ocean took place here the day before yesterday, or a few days ago. And today we're going to carry on with this subject of the churning. The demigods and the demons are both invigorated. Lord Shiva has removed, drunk the ocean of poison which was produced, this hala poison, and he's drunk that, so now the demigods and demons are very enthusiastically churning the ocean and hoping to get nectar. People are very busy in this material world, you could say, churning sense gratification, fighting with each other, jostling with each other, trying to get nectar. The amount that people get is like a little drop of water in an ocean, or a drop of water in a desert, you could say. But this churning is a little bit, you could say, a little bit more significant and universal effect is taking place here, not just some localized result of someone's karma. They're getting a little bit of pleasure from all their intense endeavors of working hard, struggling hard. The demigods and demons are struggling like anything. Their intention is to get the nectar. People, same thing in the material world, it's like that. So text number 2, is it on the board today or is it not on the board today? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Just before I forget, you see there's a rack here with books on. This is generally for people who come during the day, because oftentimes there's no one here when guests come, no devotee around. And oftentimes they take a book, and as you see there's a little notice up there in English, French and Bengali, asking please feel free to take a book, but kindly give a donation. No specifics, they're all small books. Please don't take books from here for Sankirtan or anything like that, or for reading. This is specifically for that reason only. If you on the spot you do, but please best to replace it. Otherwise we're going to be double entering schools, because we count how many is there, then after a few days we'll count again, like that. It will be normally called honesty box. Huh? So let the honesty box do some Sankirtan. Text number 2. Tam Agnihotrim Vishayaha Jagrihu Brahmavadinaha Yagyasya
Yajnasya
Devayagyasya
Devayajnasya
Medhyaya
Medhyaya
Havishe
Avishe
Nripa
Nripa
Tam Agni Hatim Rishayo
Tamagni Otrim Vishayo
Jagvihor Bhamavadinaha
Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Yagyasya Deva Yanasya
Yajnasya Devayanasya
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Tam Agni Hotring Rishayo
Tamagni Otrim Vishayo
Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Yagyasya Deva Yanasya
Yajnasya Devayanasya
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Tam Agni Hotrim Rishayo
Tamagni Otrim Vishayo
Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Yagyasya Deva Janasya
Yajnasya Devayanasya
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Tam Agni Hotrim Rishayo
Tamagni Otrim Vishayo
Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Yagyasya Deva Yanasya
Yajnasya Devayanasya
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Tamagni Hotrim Rishayo
Tamagni Otrim Vishayo
Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Yagyasya Devayanasya
Yajnasya Devayanasya
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Tamagni Hotrim Rishayo
Tamagni Otrim Vishayo
Vihu Brahmavadinaha
Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Nasya Deva Yanasya
Yajnasya Devayanasya
Medhyaya Vishenripa
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Ladies.
Tamagni Hotrim Rishayo
Tamagni Otrim Vishayo Jagvihor Brahmavadinaha
Yajnasya Devayanasya
Yajnasya Devayanasya
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Medhyaya Havishe Nripa
Tam,
Tam
that cow.
That cow
Agnihotrim,
Agnihotrim
absolutely necessary
Absolutely necessary
for the production of yogurt,
for the production of yogurt
milk and ghee,
Milk and ghee
to offer as oblations
To offer as oblations
in the fire.
in the fire
Rishayaha,
Rishayaha
sages who perform
Sages that perform
such sacrifices.
such sacrifices
Jagvihu
Jagvihu
took in charge.
took in charge
Brahmavadinaha,
Brahmavadinaha
because such sages
because such sages
know the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies.
know the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies
Yagyasya,
Yajnasya
sacrifice.
sacrifice
Devayanasya,
Devayanasya
which fulfills the desire
which fulfills the desire
to be elevated
to be elevated
to the higher planetary systems
to the planetary system
and to Brahmaloka.
and to Brahmaloka
Medhyaya,
Medhyaya
fit
fit
for offering oblations.
offering oblations
Avishay,
Abhishek
for the sake of
for the sake of
pure clarified butter.
pure clarified butter
Nripa.
Nripa.
O king,
O king
translation, and there is a purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jananada Goswami continues. O King Parikshit, Great sages who were completely aware of the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies took charge of that Sarabi cow. Which produced all the yogurt, milk and ghee, absolutely necessary for offering oblations into the fire. We have a Sarabi at New Mayapur. Is she producing all the milk, ghee and butter and yogurt for the sacrifices?
A lot.
To people in general, this is a complete waste of energy, isn't it? What's the use of? You're producing milk, butter, yogurt, ghee, and you're just throwing in the fire. A waste. Huh? We can say we're throwing it into the fire of digestion also. That is also a waste in one sense, unless it's for the right purpose. Isn't it? They also, as we mentioned the other day, they throw so much milk products into the ocean. Overproduction. Huh? And we described a little bit about some of the usages of milk products the other day in this world we live in. But here we see that the sages were very eager to get that Sarabi cow. I mean, demons were not so. I mean, what would the demons do with a cow? You know what they would do with a cow. Because the demons in past ages were not so fools as they are nowadays in one sense. They also understood the importance of Brahminical, somewhat at least, not to follow it exactly, but to take advantage of Brahminical culture. And some of them did, some of them didn't, depending on time and circumstances, but they understood these principles of how to achieve success, or more success in this world. And many times the demons, in fact this whole pastime is related, isn't it, to Bali Maharaj and how he conquered the demigods, huh? Head of the demons. And he conquered the demigods. Jai Shishintai Sachi Sutta Jagannath Baldev Radha Radha Jai. Because he worshipped the Brahmins. Brahma Tejas. The Brahmins are very powerful, and when you please the Brahmins, you could say you please Krishna. And Krishna bestows his blessings. And the demigods, the Ladindra particularly, defended his spiritual master, so they were on the retreat. They were actually being defeated by the demons. So this is the turnaround of events, you could say. But generally speaking, the demons, they see everything for sense gratification. It's not that the demigods don't either, but they see it in relationship with Krishna, and they do it in the way that Krishna recommends. So Krishna recommends that we perform sacrifice and to him. And so the demigods, although they're materially attached, they also want the nectar. They're also after material, mostly they're Sakama Bhaktas. They worship Krishna, they believe in Krishna, but like most people who are a little deistic, they may approach God in some way or another, but they're generally speaking materially inclined. They want material results, generally. And the demigods vary. Some of them are pure devotees, most of them are not. Most of them are materially attached. And they want to enjoy the fruits of their work, but they know that the fruits come from Krishna. They know that Krishna is ultimately the supreme Lord, and everything's meant to be offered to him and done to him. So they know they're devotees, but they're materially attached, like most, even amongst themselves, to a large degree. We're also expecting something from Krishna in this world. So they're different, just a different mentality. The demons, even if they know Krishna's God, they want to get rid of him. They want to attack him. They're opposed to him. Sometimes that demoniac mentality comes into the demigods' minds too. We see that with Indra sometimes. he turns on Krishna quite severely, even though Brahma challenged Krishna. Brahma Vimohana Leela. He just thought he was more powerful than he actually is. And it was proud. A little pride came in. Pride means that we're seeing ourselves in the center. And we're actually opposed to Krishna. So we finished it. So amazing how their main reason wasn't so that they could have chocolate. Well, if we get a good Surabi cow, we're going to have really good chocolate here. Right? That wasn't their motive. It wasn't their motive that now we can, wow, we can really enjoy ghee now. Chavaka Muni said, beg, borrow, steal ghee, but somehow get ghee and enjoy. That wasn't their motive, exactly. Although maybe behind it, but in a more bona fide way. Doing it in a way which is, if you really want sense enjoyment, this is the way you do it. Now that's the Sakama Bhakta, the Karma Kandya section of the Vedas. But do also include that of offerings to Krishna to achieve one's material intentions. We realize we can't get it on our own. So they're kind of like, a kind of bribery in a sense. They approach Krishna. So here they are, they're of course we can't say that about everyone, some of them may be pure unmotivated intentions for the welfare of all. For the pleasure of the Lord. It's another angle of the same thing. But generally the demigods have got this material motivation. They employ priests to achieve their purposes and so on. And they're always afraid of losing their positions, as this pastime also is related to. They did this just for the sake of pure ghee. Pure ghee. There's the essence of the products of the cow, is pure ghee. Pure ghee, which they wanted for the performance of sacrifice. Why? To elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems up to Brahmaloka. Typical motivation of people who are a little bit, not just in the, kind of could say, completely in the mode of whatever, passion and ignorance or something, but they have a little idea there are higher planets and it's much nicer up there. It's the weather's better. The weather's better up there. The rooms that you stay in are nicer. Everything's nicer up there. Even if it's materially nice, which people are always aspiring for. Nice material facilities, right? I don't know if anyone welcome up. Matthias from Italy also arrived yesterday, and Bhakti Sar Prabhu also arrived yesterday from India and Italy, and they've come for a period of a month or so, or whatever, some weeks, to also join us in the yagya. This is the yagya. They want ghee. I told the devotees to cooking ghee. When offerings to the deities, sometimes you can't get it. Some parts of the world it's understood, but when it's available, we should always make the offerings to the Lord in ghee. Krishna likes ghee. As we see here, it's the make pure ghee, the performance of sacrifice. So, and those also, we should try to offer Krishna ghee when we cook for the Lordship. Not that it should be like an ocean of ghee. Sometimes it's like an ocean of ghee and there's something floating in the ocean. You're not sure what it is. It's fried so much you can't tell. But but using ghee for the offerings is essential, most important, if it's available. And it should be used carefully. Ghee is like everything, like the blood in the system, the most essential production, you could say, the blood is the semen in the male body, at least. And it should be careful. It's very considered to be extremely valuable, not to waste it. So we shouldn't waste ghee, particularly ghee. Sometimes we don't really know how to use it so well. We use too much, or we cook in such a way that so much ghee is wasted. So it should be carefully preserved and not wasted, because it is very valuable. So there's a purport by Srila Prabhupada which we'll read. Sarabi cows are generally found in the Vaikuntha planets. The Vaikuntha planets, as we all know, probably, maybe not. We have Vaikuntha Ekadashi, for those who are from South India, coming up is on Gita Jayanti Day. Vaikuntha Ekadashi, where they have this idea that just to perform Ekadashi that day, perform yoga that day, you're going to go back to Vaikuntha. It's a nice, special day where anyone can come along and back to Vaikuntha. You do go, well, maybe Krishna can do anything, but that's not with love. That's not the real intention of just getting what you want. But life is meant for doing what Krishna wants. That's the real yoga. Sacrificing our own materially motivated intentions. It's like so many people, even Balalingam Prabhu looks like you're ready to go to Sabrimala in Kerala. You been there?
I never been there. I'm going next month.
It looks like you're going there next month.
I just got an invite last week.
These endeavors are for this, related to this pastime, the churning of the milk ocean, because anyway, it's a long story. The form there of Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, anyway, it's the whole thing. And it's supposed to be produced. It's for material motivations people go there. They want elevation to heavens, or their liberation, or something like that. Material reasons people go there. It's not selfless reasons. Sarabi cows are generally found in Vaikuntha, as described in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Krishna, on his planet, Goloka Vrindavan, engages in tending the Sarabi cows, Surabir Abhipalayantam. Very word, Goloka, means the planet of the cows. Gokul, the place of cows. These cows are the Lord's pet animals. Nowadays, of course, everyone has, if they have a pet at all, they have what do they have?
Dog.
A dog is very common, and cats, sometimes some other animal. Sometimes they keep a human being as a pet also. So they have pets, they like to pet, to feel like they're the protector and the enjoyer, the friend, and what have you. It's another form of self-centeredness. That's okay in the spiritual world. Krishna himself is the enjoyer, he is the friend, he's the object of pleasure and the origin of pleasure. So everything in one sense is meant for his pleasure, but he particularly, Mo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha, particularly the cows are very, very dear to him. From the Sarabi cows one can take as much milk as one needs. Generally speaking, a cow may provide whatever it does. Some cows give a lot of milk, relatively a lot of milk, but not as much as you need. Well, maybe as much as what family needs, but not in terms of all that the needs are there. One Sarabi cow can provide all the needs, and not just milk. They can provide other things too. We see Vishishta, he had his Kamadena, his Sarabi cow. They even provide soldiers to protect anything. The Sarabi cow is like a Kalpavriksha tree, provides whatever is needed. But specifically, of course, cows provide milk products. Milk is necessary for the performance of yajna. Again, back to the point in the beginning that people don't understand this at all. They don't see any point whatsoever. Prabhupada quotes oftentimes this famous Mayavad impersonalist Swami. What is the use of this Tulsi worship? Why you grow Tulsi? You better grow eggplants. And you see everything materially. They don't understand what the point of it is. Missing the point of human life, totally materialistic. Maintain the body. What for you maintain the body? What's the use of maintaining a body? What's the use? We have to, of course we have a responsibility to do it for various reasons. But what's the real use of it? What's the point if you simply remain in ignorance? There's no real value of any kind, just causing our own perpetuation of our own suffering in this world. The purpose of the human form of life is Jivasya Jignasa, performing, to inquire into the nature of the absolute truth, to perform yagyas, Tato Brahma Jignasya. Now that we've come to the human life, we're supposed to perform sacrifice for Lord Vishnu, inquire, and Yagya Vai Vishnu sacrifices are meant to be performed for Lord Vishnu, not for anyone else. Everyone else is like a limb of the body, part, but it's not the same. If we think the limb is the whole, or we go to the limb trying to get some specific benediction, then we remain in the material world. We're in ignorance. The real yogya is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. It's one of the challenges of being a vegan. Huh? What do you do? I often wonder what they do when they do their abhishek. Pardon?
What they do when they do the initiation, what they put in the fire when they get in the initiation, vegans.
Look, that's a good point. Maybe they don't get initiated. I mean, everyone can make their own choices. It's an individual thing, but in principle, how can you perform these yogas properly without milk products? Of course, the chemicals they're not going to harm a cow, generally speaking. That's totally against their principle. Harm any living entity. I was listening yesterday, Prabhupada said, a devotee is one who doesn't harm any living entity, even an ant. Well, to speak of a cow who's so dear to Krishna, people may say, whatever they may say, but it's not our business to interpret what Krishna likes and what he doesn't like, just because we don't. That's another indication that we think we're God. We can impose, these things upon God's position. Now, what's special about a cow? Or what's special about you that you can say what's special about a cow? We don't have that. How can you say to someone, what's special about this person? Why you like them? You can say that. It doesn't mean anything. You know yourself. If you like someone, you like someone. Simple as that. You don't have to have someone, logically interpreting why or why not. It's something you actually have, feeling in your heart. So God, the Supreme Person, Krishna, the Supreme Personality, he loves his cows, and the cows love him. They live for his pleasure, and he lives for their pleasure, you could say. Milk is necessary for the performance of yajna. Sages know how to use milk. They know how to use it. Perhaps we do, perhaps we don't. I mentioned the other day that we sometimes waste milk products. I've seen those throw whey away. Kind of a double word usage. They throw whey away. You know what whey is? What's whey?
You make the paneer, you get the butter.
Yeah, when you make the paneer, everyone wants the paneer. You bring around the sabji with the paneer in it. They say, give me the paneer, give me the paneer. I don't want the potatoes. Give me the paneer. Right? Yeah. Isn't it?
Yes.
Many times you see this. Give me the paneer sabji. Well, that's a contradiction. That's not. What's the word? I mean, there's no such thing as a paneer sabji. Paneer is not sabji. Sabji means vegetable. You can put paneer in the sabji, but it's not, you can say, for descriptive purposes we use it, but it's not really a paneer sabji. It's a sabji with paneer in. I don't want the sabji, I just want the paneer. Okay. Yeah. The whey, no. Someone bring the whey. No, I don't want the whey, just the paneer. Whey is very, very valuable. Of course it is made with chemicals, everything's made with chemicals practically, but it's not so good. But Normally the whey is very valuable. I mentioned a few of the usages of it the other day. Even making ghee, we mentioned the other day that the residue when you make ghee is also very valuable. Of course, if it's all chemicals and stuff, that's something else. But traditionally, they don't put chemicals in the milk and the yogurt when they make ghee. It's pure. So if there's any residue that comes there, any solids that come out of the churning, it's a churning form of churning of the milk, they're all very valuable. They all have their part to play. Every single part has a part to play. We just have to know how to utilize it. And whey particularly is very valuable. I take the whey and leave the pannier many times. You can have the pannier and I'll take the whey. Yeah. Anyway, different things. Whey, I saw in the room that you were going to be staying in, but Bhakti Sar's, I think, going to stay there also. Previous occupant, Jerry here had to leave because of visa. He had a big container of whey. There's nothing in it, by the way. So, but, anyway, the container's there. He's taking whey products. Why? Why do all the bodybuilders and the athletes? Why do they take whey?
Protein to build muscle.
Proteins, yeah, they get strong. So that's where the strength lies, is in the whey. In the cow product. Whey is the key feed. They take the whey out of the milk when they process it nowadays. And then they sell it back in these containers at a huge price. Then they put some chemicals back in to make it, put a bit of the sweet. Lactose is the sweet aspect of the milk. They put that back in a little bit. It tastes nice, and add some chemicals and protein, some whatever, artificial vitamins and what have you. But cow milk itself is complete. But I would say you can live on cow milk in its pure form. Everything's there. But they take it all out, process it. There's nothing left much. They break it all down and they reconstitute it according to the financial profit. And then they add a few things so you think you're getting milk. And this is how they tamper with Krishna's arrangement for financial reasons. And, you mentioned these things the other day. For the Sarabi cow, one can take as much milk as one needs, and one may milk these cows as many times as he desires. Do that with Gomata and Sarabi. You milk them like 50 times a day. No? How many times? 2 times. Okay, that's not bad. 2 times a day milking. Mostly it's 2 times a day milking cows, morning and evening. But here, as many times as you want. Now, because the karmi is trying to do that. They're trying to squeeze everything they can, day and night, whether it's sex, money, sense gratification, you name it. Constantly trying to squeeze. There's hardly any limitation to the amount they want to squeeze pleasure out of this world, material world. The spiritual, as much as one likes, it's not that, as much as Krishna likes. Everything is for Krishna's pleasure. There's no time influence in the spiritual realm. Time is the controlling factor of material life. Everything's controlled. So we have to learn how to use time. Time is a form of Krishna, and a manifest form in a sense, who controls everything in this universe. And we have to learn how to use time properly, as well as the products that are created in this material, apparent creation in this world properly. We also have to use time properly. But time is a controller, as we could say, time I am, Krishna says. So, hello, me. We have to utilize time properly, so we have to learn how things are meant to be utilized in time. That's why regulation, Veda, Yajna also means sacrifice, means regulation also. It means doing things in the proper order. So, and it includes, of course, milking cows. You don't just milk willy-nilly. If you go to the doctor and you have an illness and they give you some prescription, they tell you when to take the medicines, right? Is that? Usually. You take one tablet after your meal 3 times a day, or whatever it is. You're supposed to, if you don't do that, maybe it won't be effective at all, or it won't be so effective, or it may cause another problem. You have to follow the prescription. So there are prescriptions given in the Vedas of how to do things, including cow protection, bull protection, engaging the bulls, etc. Everything is guided there, how to do it, or it's passed down by, here rishis who know how to perform these particular sacrifices. So everything should be done properly, not just whimsically. Oh, we can milk the cow anytime I feel like it. That's how people think, in a sense. They want sense gratification any time of the day or night. Especially sex life can be like that. Animalistic propensity, can't control their senses, or smoking. You see, people, they can't live without smoking. Huh? There's one man came here the other day and said, is it okay if I smoke? I couldn't go any longer without smoking. I sat here for 30 minutes. Went outside and smoked. They can't, it's like material passion.
Addiction.
Itch, exactly, itch. They can't control the itch. Sages know how to use milk to elevate human society to the perfection of life. That's the key, you could say the key line here. Sages know how to use milk to elevate human society to the perfection of life. We're not here just to enjoy for a few years and then another lifetime somewhere. We're here to go back to Godhead. So if you mistreat those who are dearest to Krishna, how on earth can we go back to Godhead? You can't. If you want to get, materially, if you want to get some benediction from somebody, but you insult their wife or their child or their best friend, you will be their worst enemy. More than if you insult them. But unfortunately, this is going on every day. Hundreds of thousands of cows are slaughtered, only for human consumption. What to speak of other animals also, or other creatures. There are 8 billion other living entities slaughtered every day for human consumption. 8 billion every day. That includes all forms, fishes, chickens, birds, animals, all added up together. That's as many as there are people on the planet. 1 per person. And I guess it will increase proportionally. If Krishna, if it's some or another, according to karma, according to the need, it's still happening, until it's not tolerated any longer. Give them a chance, but only so far, unless people wake up. Since cow protection, so they don't have a clue, and you ask anyone what's the purpose of life, they will never. Hardly 1 in a billion will answer anything more than a material. Some have a very selfish motivation, and some a little bit more broader, and some a little higher. But rarely does anyone say the perfection of my life is when does anyone say that? No. Even devotees, they may say it, but they don't follow it. We're not always thinking of the pleasure of Krishna. We're not always thinking without any motive other than, pleasing Krishna. Usually there's some other motive in what we do. We're not on that level, although we know that that's the proper, let's say, practice. But nobody thinks like that, hardly. Everyone's speculating according to their karmic condition. Last line. Perfection of life. Sankhitir Haritoshanam, to please the Lord. Since cow protection is recommended everywhere in the Shastras, the Brahmavadis, the sages, they took charge of the Surabi cow. Took in charge means they protected the Surabi cow. Taking charge of the cow or the bull doesn't mean you just keep them in a shed somewhere so that Indian people can come and give donations. And you can maintain your ashram. Indian people may do that. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that either, but that's not the goal. The purpose of the bull is to produce grains. That's their service. It's like you're saying, we've got devotees, we don't let them do any service. It's cruel to engage them in service. Is it? They may think like that. I'm being exploited. I'm being exploited. Why are you asking me to do this service? Why don't you do it? If you want it done. Service is a privilege. It's a gift to go back to Godhead. The more service, the better. And Prabhupada, listening to him yesterday, said devotees should want more and more and more service. That's the constitutional nature of the soul. Is we are eternally engaged in service for the pleasure of Krishna. This material world takes a little time to realize that. That's our business, service. We're greatly fortunate to have service, because that's the way that we please Krishna. We want to please Krishna, then we must be 24 hours engaged in different types of service. We have to know what the broader sense of that service is. Even the Bhagavatam recommends we should live a healthy life, maintained properly. But in principle, our business is to serve the will of the Lord. So here we see that the key is here, sacrifice. That sacrifice will help us to attain, and there's no other sacrifice like Sankirtan Yoga. There is no other one in this age of Kali, the performance of Sankirtan Yoga, because ghee is not always available. Even if it were, we don't know, there's no qualified Brahmins to properly do all of this. So in Kali Yuga, these things are there, and we should take whatever little advantage, or let's say, apply them as much as we can, but the primary sacrifice is Sankirtan, chanting in public. Sankirtan and chanting together is complete, means bringing everyone in. I was listening to a short lecture last night, and the way of saying how, reciting and describing how Mother Yasoda captured Krishna and bound him up. She didn't do it alone. Interesting aspect. She ran out of ropes. Alone we can only do a little bit, but she then engaged all the other gopis. Bring ropes, bring ropes, bring ropes. They all brought ropes. Hundreds and hundreds of meters of ropes were there. And together, in one sense, she took advantage of everyone else's association, and then she was able to bind Krishna. So Sankirtan's like that, to engage everyone else in bringing pleasure to Krishna, and Krishna's pleased. Not just me or you, but everyone. Everyone should be engaged in the service of Krishna, because they belong to Krishna. They're meant to that purpose. Learning the art of utilizing everything for Krishna's pleasure. If Krishna wants it, we accept it. If he doesn't want it, we don't accept it. But we may not be on that level yet, but that's the ideal. Since cow protection is recommended, the Brahmavadas took charge of the Sravi cow, in which the demons were not very interested. Not very interested. They're not very interested in chanting. They're not very interested in worshipping the deities. They may be for material reasons sometimes, but no, we learn how to worship the deities the way that they'll be pleased. We don't just concoct. Oh, I like the deity. I was in one temple in South Malaysia many years ago, it's a Saraswati temple. And she had a guitar, dressed in jeans with a guitar. Can you believe it? What type of mentality is this? Unbelievable. Concoctions that people come up with, offering him what I like, not what he likes. Or her. So Sankirtan is for Krishna's pleasure. So today some of you will be going out on everything Sankirtan because it's for the pleasure of Krishna, but particularly to do the yajna, this Prabhupada book marathon, to distribute books or chant the holy names, etc. Yajna by Vishnu. For the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. So pray that he gives us that mercy to engage in this service. We're not the controllers or doers. Our business is to perform our service. Whatever results are meant for Krishna's pleasure. If some fortunate souls receive Krishna's mercy, then so be it. And even if they don't, Prabhupada writes, speaks, that even if they don't take the book, if they simply see the book, they get benefited. If they touch the book, they get benefited. We used to go along touching people with the book. Don't do that as your service. Oh, I touched 10,000 people today. I showed the book. I stood like this all day long. Millions of people saw the book. That's good, but it's not the real point. You want to change people's lives, engage them in the effect, the activity of hearing about Krishna, or hearing about the process to become Krishna conscious. Great sacrifice. Go out into the, I don't know what the weather's going to be, a bit rainy probably today, a bit cold, a bit rainy. Great sacrifice to share this real nectar. This is the real nectar that comes out of the churning. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. There is no marker, but it will be text number 3 onwards. Hare Krishna.
Jananada Goswami Maharaj ki
Prabhupada ki jai. So normally we have breakfast now, but nothing happens as normal as we'd like it to be in Paris Temple. You cannot guarantee that everything will be as hoped for. We do our best. And then after that we'll have to discuss what's required for the devotees, for keeping them healthy and warm and everything else. So we'll go over to the latest VIP room after I'm over now.
They already took their things